Hello friends, are you guys ready to try inking a project tonight? We normally use chalk paste. Tonight we're going to use chalk ink. We're going to use this cute little design that says Santa Claus is coming to town. Isn't it cute? It looks like I'm not mirrored. Let me see if I can get that mirrored real quick. Get that image mirrored. Santa Claus. Now I can read it. Good. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to put it on this red apron. Red is a holiday color, wouldn't you agree? Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and try that tonight, see how it works. I don't use ink very often, and one thing about ink is it's permanent. So you want to make sure that you take care to always have clean hands when you're doing it and not to apply the ink anywhere you don't want it to be, because once it's heat set, it will be permanent. I'm going to go ahead and type in the comment right now, the instructions for the comment. The word of the night is Santa Claus. So if you type Santa and check your messenger, you will get a list of all the products I'm using tonight, the Chalk Couture products. The only other things I'm using is parchment paper and a apron that I got from Dollar Tree. So let me go ahead and see if I can get this pinned. I haven't been pinning, it has not been pinning well for me lately, but I am going to get it pinned. Let's see, I know that there's a secret, doesn't always happen. Okay, it's not going to work. And okay, so to ink, we are going to need a barrier so that our ink does not go through to anything else that we don't want it to. This is called an ink mat, and it is in the supply list that I have built for you guys. When you comment Santa, it'll give you a link to take a look at all the products that I've put in there that I've used tonight, but you also have an option to purchase none, some, or all. So you modify that part like you want it to. This has got a protective covering on it, and it's very important to keep this covering and to use it to recover this when you're done, because this is very sticky. Sticky is necessary because we want it to hold our project in place so that it doesn't move around on us. Now here is our apron, and it is really cute. I'm going to go ahead and try to center it so that the part that I'm going to be chalking is on our mat. So we are going to go right above the pocket. And since it is sticky, I can smooth out all these wrinkles that are on here. This will not move, so that once we have our transfer down, we are sure that it's not going to move around on us. So I'm going to smooth it down, get all those wrinkles out, and it looks good to me. Here's our transfer we're going to be using. Now, the transfer has two parts. It has the main part, and then the bottom part says Cookies for Santa, which you can use also, but I'm not going to use that part tonight. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and cut off that part. And lately I've been trying to cut my transfers a little differently. Instead of cutting through the backer, I've just been trying to cut through the silk screen that's kind of stuck, embedded in there for us, so that I can keep my backer sheet as a whole piece. So that worked really well. I'm just going to go ahead and take off the part that I'm going to use, which is the Santa Claus is coming to town. And this is also sticky. Sticky is good. Sticky is good. So since it is sticky, it will stay in place for us. But we want to remove some, oh no, we're not even going to fuzz it, because we don't want to fuzz when we're using cloth. You can tell it's been a while since I've inked anything. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and center this as best as I know how. Let me see. Center that. Make sure the top is straight. And go according to my line at the top. That looks good to me. Now I'm going to go ahead and work my finger around all the silk screen. The area that you can see through is called the silk screen. That's where the ink is going to go through the transfer, and it's going to go onto the surface down below. Also, I am going to have to heat set this to make the ink permanent. So I have my Easy Press over here. I'm going to go ahead and set my temperature at 350 so that I can get it heating up so that it'll be ready. We won't have a delay when it comes time to use it. So if you hear any beeping, that will be what's going on. Okay, so my ink mat is down. It's under my fabric. I've got my transfer on, and it looks straight. I've smoothed it down. So now what we're going to do is open up our paste. I feel like I have not enough room. Okay, so this is our ink. It looks just like our paste. There are a little bit of differences though. This takes longer to dry. This is permanent, but you apply it the same way. So all I'm going to do, I don't want any bubbles under this. If you have any bubbles around the silk screen, it's going to run underneath it. You're not going to, it's going to bleed. It's not going to be a nice crisp image, and we do want a crisp image. So I'm making sure it's all the way down, and this is going to be a quick project, guys. You guys won't believe how quick this is. I'm going to get some paste on my ink on my transfer, and I'm just going to offload it onto the side. I didn't go directly onto an area that had the silk screen because it seems to work better that way. And when you're inking, one of the tips that I've heard works best is to go in one direction. So apply your ink in one direction. With the paste, I tend to go all directions, but with the ink, they say just to go one direction. It reduces the bleeding and allows for even application. Make sure you get all those silkscreen areas covered. And see how quick that was? All I'm going to do now is remove some of the ink, the excess ink, and smooth out the layer just by running over. This stuff spreads so easily, guys, so easily. If you guys are just jumping on, please comment Santa to get the link to the materials I'm using tonight. If you want to share this, feel free to share it with anyone you think would be interested in this project. And if you want to learn about our DIY monthly subscription called Club Couture, please type in the word club. Check your messenger for the message with the links to take a look at that. It is around, I think it's $22 a month delivered to your door. You get an 8.5-inch transfer by 11-inch. And you get 3 coordinating paste packets, so you can make a quick project every month. You can make it your way. You can do the way they recommend. It's up to you. I'm going to go ahead and cap up my ink. It's already done, guys. The hard part is done. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove. I want to make sure my hands are clean, that there's no ink, and actually for once, I don't feel like I'm covered with ink. I'm going to remove this. I do see a little blade at the very top and one at the bottom. Let me show you guys. Well, let me show you. And I think they're both on the fold. You guys see that one at the top and one at the bottom? They're both on the fold. So maybe I should have ironed this a little bit first. But normally, once you have that on there, on the paste mat, ink mat, it sticks and it takes all the wrinkles out. But I do notice that's where it is. Now, I'm going to go ahead and dry it with my heat tool. It's best that you leave it overnight at this point. Let it dry out in the open air and just dry on its own. But I want to show you guys how to heat set this to make it permanent. So I'm going to go ahead and help it dry a little bit. Just by using my heat tool. You guys, this stuff is so fun, so easy. Yeah, I'm a little disappointed in those 2 bleeds right there. But it's okay. It's okay. You want to make sure that this ink is completely dry before you heat set it. And remember, I said that the ink takes a little bit longer to dry than the paste. So we're just going to kind of take our time with it and dry. So what have you guys been up to? Anything new? Are you guys ready for Halloween? Trick or treat's coming up. Do you have your candy purchased for the kids? How about costumes? Costumes ready? I hope so. I'm not sure what the stores look like this year, if they're running out of costumes or if they've reduced everything already. But You should start thinking about it if you have children. Unless you're using a costume from last year, or maybe switching with somebody else, another family. Might be fun. I have grandkids, and I think they're all set with their costumes. I can't wait to be with them, with some of them, on Halloween. It's always so exciting. And of course, they always have their costumes on earlier than Halloween to practice. They have to practice their trick-or-treat speech and saying thank you, being kind. So, let's see how this is doing. Still tacky, so you can tell if it's still wet, and if it needs to dry more. If it's still tacky, this means you need to dry a little bit more. I don't know about you guys, but the days of the weeks just seem to fly for me anymore. They just fly by. Today's Tuesday, tomorrow will be Wednesday, hump day. Then I feel like it's time for the weekend. This image came out really good, guys, on this apron, except for those two spots. It's feeling less tacky, so I think we'll have just a couple seconds to go here. Feels good to me, guys. Okay, so normally, like I said, instead of using the heat tool, you would let it sit out overnight. For the purpose of showing you guys how to heat set this, I went ahead and used my dryer. I'm going to take this off carefully. Oh, and I should have taken this off actually before I was even using the drying tool, because it's not really heat proof. But it seems to be okay. This is just a mat that came with my Easy Press. So I have the Cricut Easy Press that I'm going to use. And you always want to cover it, your design, with some parchment paper. Now this is not wax paper, it's parchment paper. Cover your entire design. I'm going to set my timer for 30 seconds. And I'm just going to place this on here. I might move it around just up and down to make sure I get everything covered, but just heat press it for 30 seconds on each side. You can also use a regular iron for this. You want to make sure it's a dry iron, so no steam. And you want to, with an iron, it would take approximately 4 minutes on each side. So you don't have to have an easy press or a heat press of any kind. You can just use an iron. No moisture, no steam. Okay, that says it's 30 seconds. I'm going to go ahead and remove it. This really kind of changed colors. I wonder why. I wonder if that was too hot, maybe. I'm going to go ahead and reduce that heat to 325. I think for this fabric, that was probably a little bit warm. Shoo. Temperature 325. Okay, I'm gonna let this cool down for just a second. Did you guys see how it changed colors? I wanted a vibrant white. It turned out to be kind of a pinky. It's almost like it scorched a little bit. So this is really hot when it comes off. I'm gonna let it cool for just a second. And then I'm gonna do the back. And notice how my paper has a little bit of ink on it? So it could have been dried a little more. So now I'm gonna go ahead and do the paper again, just down below, because I don't want it on my mat if it is still wet, which it shouldn't be. My heat press is still cooling down. It's at about 336. I think I'd like it to cool down to about 330 or so. So I'm just going to give it 1 second. Well, 30 seconds or so. It's at 332. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do it for another 30 seconds. Just put it on here, and it's at 30 seconds. I'm just gonna let it sit. We'll see how it does. It just went down to 325. "13 seconds, 8 seconds, 2, 1, I'm gonna turn it off. Okay, let's see how that looks. Let's see if it changed color anymore. Woo! So the color did change, so reduce your temperature a little bit. If you smell it or see any steam coming out, you might want to check your temperature. So this is our apron. And this is kind of a cool apron because it does have the pockets, and I can adjust the strap. And maybe I could have put the Santa up a little higher. So learn from my mistakes. It could have been a little higher. He could have been lower, but I still love it. What do you guys think? We're going to give it a try again next time. I've got another apron. We can do another design next time or in the future. Give this video a heart if you like it. Please feel free to share it. Follow my page. I'll be back on again soon, probably tomorrow. So I'll see you soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.